One of our biggest projects is Plant a Seed. You will see some of their raised beds right outside of the Audimax. There's always fresh fruit when the season is right, and there's also a big body of students who take care of these beds, and everyone is always welcome to help there out as well, or plant their own plants in there. So that's a nice project that is making the concrete jungle here a little bit more green. One of our biggest environmental initiatives is the environmental department, who would have guessed, which kind of combines all of these environmentally friendly initiatives, environmental university politics, under one roof. And they have different projects. One of them is the lecture series, the environmentally friendly lecture series, which has different speakers, and you can also do credits there. You can incorporate that in your studies. It's quite interesting. There are some very interesting speakers there as well. It's a very big project that has been around for a lot of years already. We have members in the Sustainability Board. So here we're back in university politics, back in where we sit at the table with university officials and talk to them and urge them to be a little bit more environmentally friendly than they want to be. There's also a big project at the moment. I'm not an expert on that, but you can find more information also on these websites. But in general, there is 80,000 euros, as you can see, for sustainable projects. So if you have any ideas that need money that could make the campus more sustainable, you can collect ideas until the 17th of November. With this QR code, you can submit your idea, and then maybe you'll have brought in a great idea that's going to be financed by this project and will make our campus more beautiful and more sustainable. We're going back to events again, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Please welcome Jana, who has been active in the events department for a long time and has been head of the events department a couple of times already.
So the event department, the name might be a little bit confusing because we do not actually do events, but we more like prepare the events and plan for the events. So we have a big inventory in our basement where we maintain it and we keep the material intact. And furthermore, we have, for example, equipment, radio equipment like walkie-talkies, and we give them to like departmental parties, and we also use all the stuff for our own parties. So we are at nearly every party and big event the university have with our inventory.
Thank you very much. Another department who is not only involved in events, but also general information, is the Public Relations Department. Please welcome Marion.
Hi. Hopefully we're the department that you've at least heard a bit of till now, because we're the one managing the Instagram account, theoretically the Facebook account, although no one's using that anymore. And our job is to kind of get our work to you people, like all the work that we mentioned till now. We try to bring it to you so you know what we are doing for you in the background. And yeah, apart from that, we're also doing PR for all the events. So we have different accounts for all our festivals. Our event department, our environment department has also an account. So we're just coordinating all of that and posting stuff.
Thank you very much. You've heard a lot so far about all the departments supporting our events. As we'll get to know now from Moritz and Kati, each of these events need main organization.
Yeah, I'm Moritz. I'm one of the main organizers of the Tunix Festival that takes place every year at the Königsplatz, just out of Mensa. And it's one of the most important jobs of an event that we organize. For example, we are the ones who define the team structure, who find people who want to do stalls like the food stall, the infrastructure of the festival. We're the ones responsible for finding helpers and communicating with external partners like the TUM management organizations, the administrations, the building administrations, the fire department and everything. And also the external partners like the city of Munich or the city of Garching in most cases. We're the ones also communicating with people like residents and the brewery, which is also quite funny because do you want to order 7,500 liters of beer sometime? So for us, it's one of the best things we've ever done. It's 1 year of mainly great work with people, with institutions that support you, and it's quite fulfilling.
Okay. Okay, this is going to be my part again. Actually, I have organized this event, not this year, but last year. It's the TUM. It's our own traditional beer tent. Some of you might have been to the Wiesn before or to the Frühlingsfest. We do our own thing here with more student-friendly prices. It's 2 days in May. This year we even had a Maibaum, a May tree. I don't know the correct translation. So it's a big beer tent. It's quite a big event. A lot of fun, and you can go there with friends from your studies for your lunch break or just to take a break from studies altogether for 2 days. That's quite nice. Next one's going to be next year in May.
Yes, Morris already said we have the big Tunix festival in summer here at the Königsplatz, and it always takes like a lot of helpers. It's really big. It's a lot of fun sitting down below the trees, drinking a beer after lectures, and with great live music. And the same is in Garching as well. We have the Garnix Open Air, which I organized with a lot of help, obviously, with other team members on the ME Vorplatz, so in front of the Mathematics and Informatics building. And it's always great to have some live at the campus. And we also have a cooperation with the TU Films, so we have open air cinema, a sports tournament, and a lot of great music, drinks and food. Usually in the first week of the semester, of the winter semester, we have the Meine erste Uni party. This year we couldn't organize it, sadly, but usually it's a lot of fun. It's out there at the Audimax foyer and outside of the building with a lot of people partying at the beginning of the semester, and it's always great fun. And coming up, we have the Glünix, which is also in Garching at the Mathematics Informatics building. In front of it, it's like a Christmas-themed market, and we have like foods and drinks like tart flambé and Glühwein. And if you're interested, we already have like helpers sign up for the Flammkuchen, the tart flambé. So if you're interested, it's always great fun helping, and you get food and drinks, and if you have enough shifts, you also get like a little beanie of the Glünix, and sometimes you get like t-shirts. So it's always fun helping. You meet a lot of cool people, and you get food and drinks, and usually can go to the parties. So that's what I already said. Like you can.
Here's the QR code in bigger. Again, I've already seen people scanning the code. Ist ein anderer Code? That's good to know. The code before was for the Glünix specifically, and this one is in general. So yeah, if you're interested in all the upcoming events, you can scan this code as well, or you can find your way from the other page as well. I think we're done with the events. Thank you so much, everyone. who has been here and presented their fields. It was great fun to work with you these last couple of years. Thank you very much. Okay, so a little bit of an outlook for the next couple of weeks. We have, of course, upcoming dates. There's going to be student council meetings. I already see some faces here who have been there before. It's the Fachschaftenrat. It's where we have our meetings, where we vote on our positions, where we vote people into their offices. So all of the people you have seen today have been elected by this student council. So if you're interested in seeing how this looks, that's the first point here on this list. If you're more interested in having a little bit of a fun night with us and talk about some of your issues, your concerns, your ideas, or just you want to meet new people, come to our game night on the 19th of November. It's also in the Mensa-Gebäude, so if you can find our offices, you can find this game night as well. And at the 26th of November, we have the next ASTA meeting, which is a little bit of a smaller meeting, where we discuss, more, hands-on topics, and we don't vote as much as in the student council. If you're interested in that, please feel free to drop by. And as I already said, from the 16th of November, no, that's not that long, the 16th of December to the 18th of December, we have the Glünix in Garching in front of the Mathematics and Informatics building, which is, as already presented, our little Christmas market, I'd say. Again, our contact information and some nice team pictures. The one at the top was from a seminar we did in Reitenhaslach, which is a seminar location that TUM provides for us and other student groups. It's also a lot of fun always to be there and have a fun weekend, and also sometimes a productive weekend, hopefully, with some nice people. And I think there's even more QR codes. If you're interested in joining, please scan this QR code. If you're not interested in joining, please act like you're scanning the QR code, so I feel better. And always talk to us later on as well. We can always direct you to the right resources. And I think I'm going to leave this slide up. And if I remember correctly, we move to the Q&A session. Right. So over there on these sides, some of you have already done this. You can, exactly, it's already working. Ask us some questions. And the first one is, do you represent every student at this campus or TUM in general? So that's a very good question. We are actually the organization that tries to, or is supposed to, and does as well, incorporate, every student representation into one. So we represent all the TUM students. There's also the Fachschaften who, represent you in a more study-specific context. But yes, we do represent every TUM student, even in Heilbronn or the other locations that we have. How do we cope with mobbing towards the LGBTQ community? So in general, it's a big part of what we do, is to advocate for better conditions, for rights for members of the LGBTQ community who study here. Please a little bit slower. So we direct them to the right places at TUM, the compliance office, for example, and I will get to that. Okay. And if it's not working correctly, we talk to TUM officials and make sure that they better themselves in making this university a safe space for everyone. And I will come to you for a second. I don't know if the question showed, I saw some questions earlier about political situations. I'm sorry if my wording doesn't incorporate what you would like to hear, but unfortunately this is not our space that we can say something towards these topics. So if everyone has a more general politics question, feel free to talk to us after this presentation. We're happy to talk, but not here on the stage at this moment. Lucas, please, do you want to answer the next question? Mobbing, I did already.
Test? Yeah, no. So, do we have say in unipolitics and corporations? Problematic corporations, yeah, so we as students are part of in the university and also have a say in that, but we are just one part of the university. It's democratic, so if all the other parties are open to that, we also can say that we are not open to that, like we did in the student tuitions, and it will be respected, but there it's politics. So if all other parties are for it, even if we are not, it is the possibility that corporations and such will be used, right?
Thank you. Is there any chance for negotiation on tuition fees of international students? We have tried our best to prevent the tuition fees from being implemented. But as Lucas already said, unfortunately in the boards that decide this, we don't have much of a say, but we're, as already said, are advocating that this money is used for students, and specifically for international students, to better the onboarding process and many different things. But we have already negotiated that these tuition fees can be re-evaluated. So we're actively working on that, and if you're interested in working on that as well, please come to us after the presentation as well, or write us an email.
Yeah, so, and also there are like programs based on performance to drop the tuition fees for some students. This is the program that is also promoted on the TUM website. So it's not really negotiation, but also one of the parts of the tuition fees for international students.
Okay, what are, did you do the priorities one? No.
Well, the priorities of the student body. It seems like a lot of energy goes to organizing parties. Engaging relevant issues, housing and environmental group are nice though. Right, so our priorities aren't just parties. Parties is just one of the things that you see. So in your daily life as a student, it's easy to see that the students are there for partying. That's also one of the Vorurteile that we as students have. But there are many people, many more people that are in gremien and such, so in council meetings. And also next Thursday, we are not there for partying, but in a session of the Fachschaftenrat. So we are also putting our energy to politics, like housing and environmental groups. Right.
Next question is, why don't we change the way we mobilize and stop relying on alcohol to attract people? It draws those with different intentions and distractions from important issues. I see where you're coming from. We try to do our best in making not making alcohol the main thing that is going on with us. We always provide many different drink or food options. There's also no, for example, how do you say? It's not mandatory to buy stuff at our events. You're free to be there sober. You're free to be there only drinking Spezi. I do not believe that we use alcohol to attract people. But I see where you're coming from, and I think it's a more complicated issue, so if you want to talk to us about that, please feel free to stay and get in a more in-depth discussion about this as well. Lucas, next question.
Yeah, so do you have to have knowledge or to join a department? The question is gone. But still, no, you do not have to have knowledge. We also just started without any knowledge, just looked into the issues and joined a department, but you do not have to choose which department you want to join, where do you want to work. You can just talk with us and you will get an introduction to the work, and really based on the time that you have and the interests that you have, you can choose your work in the student council. Right, so you do not have to have knowledge beforehand.
What is our biggest achievement as student representation? I think that's a really nice question, because you're setting us up to present ourselves well. But I think it's very hard to mark a single thing, because we're working on such broad stuff. And I would say our biggest achievement would be that we have managed to constantly work on study conditions and constantly advocate for good study programs as best as we can. And even though this is not the fanciest of answers, and even though the study conditions aren't perfect, I think the continued efforts and the longevity is our biggest achievement.
The next question, is there a chance to keep gender-neutral toilets even past the Maschinenbau repair work? Well, that's an issue mostly based on the work of the Diversity and Queer department, which Stanley currently is looking for head of departments and more members to work with. The gender-neutral toilets are in general a bigger issue at this university. We have some, but, well, it's by the staatliches Bauamt, so it's given by the state that it should be gender divided, and some of the toilets are not. It was much work by the student council, and we are still working on that. But if you are interested in working, especially in gender-neutral toilets, on this topic, just write us a mail, because we search actively for people working on issues like that. We do not have currently that much members, especially in diversity and queer.
Okay, a little bit of a different thing. We noticed you have a lot of questions, but we're gonna close, the new questions for now, and we're happy again to talk to you right after this presentation. So if you have any further questions that are not answered here on this stage at the moment, feel free to talk to us afterwards out there. We're going to answer the last couple of questions, provide insights into the current composition of the student council and how it reflects the international diversity within the TUM community, what measures are in place to ensure representation for students from different countries. Okay, so we have had heads of the international department this last year who have did their best to grow the participation of international students in the student council. Unfortunately, they have had a lot of hard exams. So at the moment, we have not re-elected them. So if you're interested in shaping this part, feel free to talk to us as well. Even if you don't want to be the head and just work in the space, feel free to come to us as well. But of course, we are, I'm going to be quite honest here, we have, I think, 40% international students, and that's not represented in the student council. So some of this is due to language barriers. So where we can Where we can, we do things in English, for example, the environmental department, but some of the university politics stuff, unfortunately, has to be in German by university law, which makes it sometimes quite difficult, which is one of the reasons. But please feel free to come to us and help us increase the number of international students and the diversity in our student council.
Okay, so how would you ensure women, femme students feel safe in a campus, especially women of color? How does the diversity and queer department work in this regard? Well, it's bigger than just the diversity and queer department, so I won't really get into this question, also because I'm not head of the department and I'm not so into their work, but it's a bigger issue, especially safety on campus. We also have a compliance office at this university, which we are collaborating with in such topics, if they arise. Yeah, so it is known to the university there are sometimes special situations regarding safety, but to my knowledge, I don't have special points.
There has been, also due to our advocation, some new Beschlüsse, some new stuff that the university officials have publicized towards this topic, and we're actively working with them. So, of course, the diversity department works on that, but also I think everyone in the work that they do look out for these kinds of topics. We try our best to do this inclusively, so I think this is part of everyone's work in the student council. Can only students help at your events? Get payment or what's the benefits? Technically, everyone can help. You don't get paid. We don't get paid as well. But there's going to be free food, free drinks, also many non-alcoholic drinks, non-alcoholic cocktails as well. So it's not about getting free alcohol, it's about getting free food and drinks. And also, for example, a t-shirt or something of the event. So that's the payment and a lot of fun. And there's always a specific helpers party as well, so you can get together after the party and reminisce a bit about how much fun it was, hopefully. Is it possible to work with us and study at the same time? That's a big topic. I'm going to be honest here as well. Sometimes it's not easy, sometimes it's easier. It depends on how big the task is that you want to, take upon yourself. There's a lot of smaller tasks that you can easily do while fully studying, while passing all of your exams. But there's also bigger tasks which, take a little bit more time. But we have also achieved a lot in this last year to make this easier. If you're interested in possibilities there, feel free to talk to us afterwards as well.
How to get advanced medical training? I'm not totally sure how this is meant, but looking at our first responders, maybe that's the point that we want to hear. We have every semester for the last 1.5 years, we had Ausbildung. A paramedic course, yeah, thanks. A paramedic course for our first responders, and based on that, they also received training to be good first responders on our parties and other events. So if you join us, you had the contact on the slide, but you also can just scan the QR code. You can go into contact with the paramedics and join them. There you will receive training if there are any slots, again, available in future. And what are the requirements to join? Really just have interest in our work and some time. But there are not really hard requirements to join us.
This question has been there for a while. What is the student assembly role in facilitating student accommodation? We don't have much levers there, unfortunately. We don't have housing that we can give out to you. I would say our role, as Miri said earlier, is to put pressure on all of the important players there, raise money to build new accommodation, and let's say be activists for student housing. I think that's our role. That's the best we can do. But if you have new ideas, feel free to talk to Miri afterwards. So why there are less programs in main campus than the Garching? I don't know what you mean with programs. So please feel free to ask this question afterwards as well to one of us. I'm not sure what programs you're referring to. What Verhältnis does the student council? This question refers, I guess, to our structure, which is quite complicated at times. So I think if you're very interested in that, that's also something that we can talk about afterwards as well. As said, the student council is basically mostly the board, I think it's called board, but we have our elections, Last question, Lukas.
Last question. Is the Glünix really a month long, or was it a typo? It was a typo on my side. I didn't saw that. Sorry about that. It isn't a month. It's really just from, well, we can go back to the overview where the typo was. It's from the 16th of December to the 18th of December. Right, so it's in December, not November till December.
Okay, so now thank you very, very much for your attention. Thank you for all of your questions. Thank you for this huge interest in our work. And feel free, again, to just stay outside for a bit, get some snacks, talk to us or talk to each other as much as you want, and have a good semester. Thank you very much.